Hey, down here, down here. My stream got cut off by my D-Link router auto rebooting. I didn't think about what time it was or anything, so had to go away and come back. So let me check my sound here. Okay, back to normal now. I was in the middle of trying out different. It says movie format instead of saying codec. Which that's the proper word to use. Video codec, not movie codec. So I don't know why they decided to make up their own terminology. All other programs use video instead of the word movie, and they use codec instead of format. So I think these are the I think it is encoding it into these to play when you save the video. I believe so. Now that I saw that little tip there, I think maybe that wouldn't actually have anything to do with making the camera show up. Unless, of course, you were setting. See, what I was thinking is it was setting what kind of video it was accepting, and then it wasn't going to try to change it. It was just going to record it in that format. So I'm going to keep on trying them here. That's where I was. Whenever I lost my stream. It's not doing a single thing. No changes whatsoever. So I don't think that's got anything to do with the input. Like it may try to set it automatically to the input because it did recognize MJPEG stream from the camera. Let's see. Movie quality should be 100% though, that's for sure. These are not high resolution cameras. Not that it's making any difference now, but I'm not going to worry about the length right now. Motion detection. I did have that. The auto noise detect was just already turned on, and this camera does have a built-in mic, but it never has worked. All it does is make noise. So I should probably turn it off on this thing. If it ever did work, it would be recording all the time because it's going to hear noise. Well, it's not plugged in, so it might not, but if you plug it in, it'll hear noise. I don't know if it makes noise when it's not plugged in or not. No, it doesn't. Well, how could you tell? It doesn't make any noise through the electronics anyway, but of course, unless you plug it in, you're not going to hear the noise that it makes. It's just was made wrong. It's just poor quality. The mic just shorted or something, just buzzes. Either the chips are not soldered on there good in the right place, or their wires are shorted, and it's all such tiny stuff. I didn't ever try to fix it. I just didn't plug it in, and I wanted to use my SM58 or something like that anyway. Before I had a way to hook up my SM58s to the computer, I would use headset mics and lapel mics and stuff, condenser mics and stuff. So I did have these. I had some other SM58s. I had 5 of them that I had bought from when I was mixing sound for bands, but I never had a way to hook them up to the computer. Oddly enough, I'm going on and on, but you can hook them up with straight into my VM, and I never tried it for years and years, and it did work once I tried it. I kept thinking about it and never did it. Because the instructions were so complicated on that thing, I had to get the instructions out and read them step by step to see how to set it all up. And one one button does multiple things. That kind of stuff just drives me crazy. So I'm so tired now, really. I'm just got to where I don't know what I'm looking at. If there is anything to see in here, I'm not going to find it now. So what I'm going to do is close the browser to, oh, that won't work. I was fixing to say, well, I want to see, I forgot the camera's plugged into the Raspberry Pi on this operating system. I was going to see if the camera works in which application. I think it's probably that one right there because I have an icon. Yeah, GU VC View. It works with one or both of those cameras because I have used it. And OBS will work with it if it's plugged into this machine. Let's see, do I still have a, I don't think I have, well, I think even though I don't have a scene, but this, it says USB endoscope. That one there, well, if I plug in one of those USB cameras, it'll just work. Now, I don't think it'll work while I'm already, I have to plug it in first and then open OBS Studio. I don't think if I plug it in, it would just start working. But, oh, right here, USB endoscope, USB and cam 1, USB and cam 2. That was written for my endoscope, you know, my close-up camera USB, but it will work with one or both of these USB cameras, old USB webcams. But as far as, well, I'm not going to be able to, not with this app, not with this software, I'm not going to be able to stream these things. It just can't. I mean, I might look at it again tomorrow, but tonight it's already. When I wake up again, it'll probably be tonight because it's 4:30 almost in the morning now. I still have to eat something, my supper. I took a bath earlier, so I don't have to do that. But yeah, new. What? Oh yeah, I figured out what I had on there. I had Berry Boot, I think it was. Saw it, but anyway, but what I had on there was, I think it was probably, no, that's the new version, Raspberry Buster. I had, let me just look in there just because I'm a little curious. See, that's the wrong menu. Oh wait, go back. Let's do this. Let's see. Yeah, I'm making a video there. That way I can compare those directories. Okay, now go to my backup drive. I have two backup drives. The first, it backs up to the 4.5 terabyte, and then from there it backs up to the 8 terabyte or 7.2 or whatever it really is. 4.5 is called a 5 terabyte drive. Let's see, but it ain't. You know how that goes. So Raspberry Pi. In order. Let's see. I think I only have one. I had them spread out in different folders, but I have all the specific Raspberry Pi ones in this folder now, I think. And those are just folders of, most of those are just folders of, you know, web pages that I saved, like I did in that previous video. There's one though, Raspberry MC, that's from 2013. Yeah, I used to run that on here. That's the XBMC for the Raspberry Pi, and then Raspberry MC Win32 installer. It has a Windows installer there, and yeah, these are the oldest ones at the top. Then there's Wheezy. I had on there. I was running a newer version than that, 2016 version. There's that Berry Boot zip. That's what I was using to install with. You set that up, and then it will let you pick from several different systems, you know, several different Raspberry Pi compatible systems. So that is how I had done it, and then that's one I had thought I'd like to try. And I'd actually, well, I won't go into all of that. There's one, Fedberry, that's a remix of Fedora for Raspberry Pi. That's a pretty old one. it's not, well, those aren't too old. That's 2018. And there's a bunch of different versions of Noobs. This is not, oh, that's because it's by name and not by date. I was like, why are they in, I didn't done it by name. I just remember that. I forgot that I did that. You see, there's 2013, there's 2014, up to 2019. I did download that recently this year. OpenELEC, I tried running that on there. Let's see. I think that was maybe the last thing I ran it for the TV, and it still didn't work well enough. I tried that after, got to where XBMC and whatever they call it now wouldn't run on it. It's just too, software is too bloated for it. Fedora, that is another Fedora, I think it's a remix. I don't think Fedora put it out. And I don't know if I ever even tried it. Some of them I never even installed on here, downloaded them thinking I'd try it out, and I never did, Raspberry MC again. Well, that's not up there with that other one. Oh, I guess that was different. SD formatter, no, that's a SD card formatting application. Xbang, that I think was XBMC. I think it might have been. No, I don't think it was put out by the Raspberry Pi. What's that? Z image. I don't know what that is. I probably thought it would run on there. But anyway, that's what I have kept for a long, some of it for a long time. And some of these older, images is what I ran on there. And I don't even see. It was the 2016 version. I think it was Debian 8 or Raspbian 8, I think is what it was that I had on there. Some with a J I've already forgot, but anyway, maybe it's over here. Well, those should have already been backed up into here because I got the names to save so that they'll go in the same folder. But anyway, that MotionEyeOS is what I just installed today, and it didn't work. I was trying to think if I already had something downloaded that might, make a. The only other thing though, when on Jesse, that Bane Jesse, I was looking around in it before I took it off today, and ZoneMinder, I did try it out years ago. They used to have a live CD, and it was pretty cool, and it did recognize my cameras, or at least one of them. And I don't even remember now. But now it doesn't have a live image. You don't just, like install from a live system. You have to install it, and then you have to set it up in the command line and do all kinds of stuff and follow detailed instructions. I got, like I said a while ago, earlier today, I got it wrong. I put it on my Acer laptop. I thought, well, I can have one cam plugged into it, and so have it be my web server, and be running all the time. And I got it wrong, and it wouldn't, didn't hurt my web server, but the ZoneMinder wouldn't start up. And I realized what I realized what I'd done wrong, and I thought I might try it again, and then the battery decided to wear out, and so I ended up just quit using it and just installed Apache web server on that Dell 6000 laptop. But I need to do something to it. I need to do something about my server before that battery gets ruined. So, because they just can't stand being run all the time. It ruins them. Ruins the phone batteries, ruins laptop batteries. Just not a good idea. Okay, so, this is the ones that I had in my, local drive, or the hard drive that the machine runs on. Whoops, my mic. My USB drives are local. They're plugged into this machine. They're not on a network or anything. Yeah, so MotionEye, it looks cool and everything, but it's probably fine if you have newer webcams. Probably work with them. Something that supports much newer codecs than what mine do. So I was just going to do that to have. I was hoping I would get a camera up and running tonight and get it in the window. I don't want. I only have one camera left, the one I've been using tonight. that I can run. You know, those batteries they've been run day and night for too long, and they've all swelled up to where one of them swelled up to where it phone shut down. The contacts wasn't touching anymore, you know. And the other one was about to that stage, and I just noticed it today, so I took it down. And the other one, it's well, they've all were swelled a little bit, but when you just run them for a while, you know, let them run. What I do, and it has, you know, they've been fine for all these years. I have them usually keep them plugged in, and during the day they're charging, and then at night when I shut down, they're not, you know, they're on a power strip that I turn off, and they're not being charged all night. Plus, they're not running. You know, I only turn them on when I need them. For a camera or maybe an app on there or something sometimes. But when you just let them run that camera app, that IP webcam app, 24/7 for a couple of months, that runs these batteries, especially when they're already several years old. So I don't see anything else to put on there, you know, that I have already downloaded. That's what I was kind of looking through there for. So I don't. Well, like I said, DeBane Jesse had, well, that zone monitor is really cool, but it's complicated. I mean, well, I could try and fix it. It's already on the Acer laptop. I was thinking about that a while ago. I could try and fix it. And the Acer's sitting over here. And oops, too far. Okay, now you can kind of see everything. See how bad the monitor is on the Acer. But for the server, it's asleep now, I think. Let's see. I got that mouse plugged into it still. But anyway, it's not, the screen's not waking up with me shaking the mouse for some reason. But it rebooted itself. It updated and rebooted, and it did boot back up. Anyway, I could try again at, you know, run the setup commands again and try to get Zone Monitor to run on it, and then plug a camera into it. And it would, well, I could just let it be my server again, I guess. The thing is I didn't want my web server going down all the time, every time it, you know, if it reboots. Of course, I could change the reboot time to, well, I never know when I'm going to be up at night or in the day. And I think the middle of the, you know, like at 2, 3 or 4 in the morning is the best time to, 3 to 6 in the morning is the best time to let them reboot, because that's the most likely to be asleep most of the time. You know, go to bed about 2. Well, sometimes I rotate. I may be going to bed at 6 in the morning. I may be going to bed at noon. I may be going to bed at 6 in the evening or 3 in the evening. I just rotate. Because I do this. I stay up working on something or watching videos too long or something. When I don't feel good, sometimes I'll just sit there in a daze watching videos. Anyway, watching YouTube videos. Mostly. So, yeah, I'm just not sure if Zone Monitor will see them either. I know some of these camera apps will, but they're not surveillance apps, you know. They don't have a motion detection and all that. There are, let's see, there was one other one I remember I found and put on my 14 system. It was a really cool app, but it used so much resources that I could not leave it running all the time, you know. I don't know if it's still around or not. I could go look in there and find it. It's in my Fedora 14 system. It did work with one or both of my cameras. That's something I could do. And that thing doesn't make, I think it's been, 78.8 degrees. The only reason I'm not dying is because I got my window open. Of course, I've got 2 laptops, a desktop, and the Raspberry Pi running right now. But that dadgum, I figured it would, but that Dell 6000 laptop, it's a single core 1.6 gigahertz, but I think it puts out 2 or 3 times the heat that Acer dual core puts out, because I never hardly got hot when it was running. Of course, I think, well, it's this time of year is when I get hot the most, because the heater's on, and I don't need as much heat as everybody else does. I can't stand it. But and for some crazy reason, I'm getting more heat in here than than they're getting in the living room. It's 2 degrees hotter in here than it is in the living room, and it should be the other way around. In the summer, they gets hot. They'll set the air conditioner on 75, and so it'll be 76, 77 in here, and I'm all right. But when in the winter, then they set the heater on 76 to 77, and if I didn't ever say anything, they'd probably put it on 78, and then so right now it's probably on 76, and it's it's 78.8 in here, and that's with the window open a lot, and it's cool outside. It's cool, not cold. It's 61 outside. That's the thing that's saving me. And I've got the window over there open, good 20 inches. Kept opening a little more and a little more until finally got comfortable. But it's odd because just getting fresh, if the air's not hot, even though the temperature's still the same, I'm not dying. But with the window shut, and when that heater comes on, I can't breathe. So anyway, I'm just jabbering now. Okay, so while you're looking at the top of my head, I didn't feel like really getting that camera and moving it. Okay, so yeah, you can see the computers though. Here's my computer screen, and then up on top is where I've got some boxes behind it, and that's where I set that laptop. I did that because it makes more noise. It's kind of noisy, and I didn't want it over there on the rack over there where the Acer's setting. That's where I've always kept that silver laptop, that Dell laptop. But I couldn't leave the lid shut. It'd get too hot. It'd shut itself down. It'd really mess it up. It'd get the CPU paste so hot it would dry out in no time, and then the thing wouldn't run. I'd have to take it apart to put CPU paste in it. But the Acer, it would get too hot too. I had to leave the lid up like it is right now. It's broken. The hinges are broken. The display's messed up. Actually, I messed up that. Is that the one? No, I didn't mess up that display. It was like that. There was an IBM that I had that the hinges were broken, and I had it trying to fix it, and I did fix the hinges, I think. No, wait a minute. I tried to take the display apart. I did take it apart, but I was using a screwdriver to pop the plastic apart around the edges, and it slipped down in there, and it caused that same kind of thing as that right there to it. I should have been using a plastic spudger. I do have one that might have done that job, but I just thought, well, as long as I'm careful, I'd be all right. I had done that before and not ruined anything, but that day I ruined it. That was sad too, because it was a cool laptop. But anyway, it was a single core, I think. Yeah, it wasn't a dual core, but it was a pretty cool laptop. So anyway, it still got used. I gave it to my brother to use, and he just plugged it. I just showed him how to plug he didn't realize you could plug a VGA cable into most of those laptops of that age, and used it for several years. He used it till it quit working, till he bought him another laptop. But let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything else. I mean, if I go looking, I'm not going to go looking now. I'm too tired. I could go looking on the, back on the internet for other Raspberry Pi. I'm sure there's some others, surveillance setups, but I always keep an eye out for stuff. When I see an article pop up on I have a home page that where I look at that I have things I'm interested in, Linux stuff and all that. And so I always, if I see something, I will save it in a bookmark, and then, and if usually if I'm really interested in it, I'll just go ahead and download the application, and then some of them, I've been doing that ever since when I was using Windows. I've got applications that I have never even installed on anything, lots of them. But yeah, this page here, are we on the camera or the desktop? Yeah. This page here, I set it up with the stuff I wanted. I used to have even more. And actually, some of it, we'll see, like those, they quit working. And I haven't ever taken them them off of there. I kept thinking maybe I'd go and find maybe the address changed or something. Like this one down here, actually the one I used to have, same basic kind of stuff, but it just quit working. And finally I found one that had, I don't think it's, yeah, it's a different, no, it is techsupportplanet.com. It's the same website, but it's called Daily Tech Treats. Now it used to be called something else. And I guess they just changed the URL of it, you know, and everything. Yeah, it says /view, yeah, view for treats down there at the bottom left. So anyway, and I've used these two for years. And I don't look at them near, I don't go read the articles as much. I used to read a bunch of them every day. I don't do that so much anymore. Well, I just have more trouble comprehending what I'm reading nowadays. And, mostly watch videos. So that's why I have trouble following instructions, too. I used to really have good comprehension. I was read slow, but I had really good comprehension, but not anymore. Yeah, anyway. Trying to get to my that live dashboard. Thought I'd see what I can't see it very good up there on the laptop. That screen's too far away. Okay, there we go. So there's one watching. That's probably either this one or my laptop that's counting. So, yeah, that's the only other thing I can think of because, I mean, you can put a webcam on, but that old Dell, it's only 1.6 gigahertz single core. It's doing good just to run the web server, like it is, you know. And plus, you know, having to move it. I had to move it over towards the window to the left of me there, to the left of the Acer laptop, way over yonder. And I've got, you know, Ethernet cables that'll reach over there and all, and I can plug it in over there. I got a TV over there that I never watch anymore. I can set it over in that area and put the camera out the window, you know, up in the window. But well, the laptops are so big they'd have to like set on top of the. Got a TV and then a VCR and a DVD. It used to be a DVD player recorder, but that part of it stopped working. And it has a HD tuner in it. That part still works. But anyway, set it over there. Put the camera in the window. Of course, I could just stick this camera, this one that I'm using right this second over there. But I really hate not to have it there, but because for this, I want the surveillance. But I hate to. I'm scared I'll leave. I'll run. I've already just about ruined two batteries. I think after one of them's been just sitting there for about a month, and it hasn't gone down any. The other one that swelled, which one was it that swelled? It might have been one of these two here. One of them that swelled after a while, a month or so, or maybe two, it did go down, and I was able to put it back in the. Yeah, it's one of these two laying here. I was able to put it back in the Cam 3, whichever camera I took it out of, the phone that I took it out of. But I'm afraid of putting it in there and then you know, out of sight, out of mind. It's over there in the window behind the curtains, and it was just running away, and got to where I even forget to take the videos off, you know, and then if you don't take them off, then they'll just get deleted, you know, after that drive gets full. So anyway, I'm just gonna have to. I guess I don't like any of. I just don't feel good about any of the video surveillance cameras I've found to buy them. But I guess I'll have to just pick one. None of them have good enough reviews to me and good enough, you know. Some of them you get them and they last a little while and they break, that kind of thing. I just can't stand. I will not buy something like that. If I, unless I'm just desperate for something, take a chance. Especially when it costs, 50, 60, $75 for one camera. Now the sets that you can get four and a NVR, they call it, little recorder, and it's a recorder and router all in one is what it is. But the thing about I'm just going to say right at $250 you can get some with fairly decent reviews, but they're only 2 megapixels, and you're not going to be reading any license plates or anything with that. Even with our front yard's not that far, from the street, but our windows aren't, our side of our house. But but it costs, it just didn't cost too much to get like 4 or 5 megapixel cameras. But I haven't really ever showed any of them that I've talked about them a few times, but I don't think I've ever really. Oh yeah, I put it in that folder, cameras of all types. Security camera. I've been doing lots of research. Let's see. Let's put Pi in there so I won't. What did I do? So I won't be looking at all the wired ones here, but yeah, here's one that I think that's 4 stars with 3 reviews, but the power cable is under 4 feet long. That's useless. 10 foot's barely long enough, because see, you've got to these things have if you don't know, this is not one that I really was considering. Well, that's a 5 megapixel. Oh, really? 52. But see, then you got to spend another $6 to $8 to $10 on a power cable. What they do is they have I think this is the kind that I have decided would probably be the best thing. If it really is 5 megapixel, that'd be all right. And it has a decent. Well, it only has 3 reviews though, so that's pretty risky. That's probably why I wasn't really. Anyway, they have an SD card slot. I believe this one does. Most of these type do. And so you can record straight onto there and it'll stream, and so you can look at it, and some of them will actually, I've even seen a few that will actually upload straight to Google Photos, which would be perfect for me. Or you could, any of the server, my Acer laptop, it did have enough space on it, I could have had it upload to it. These things do that, but not now, since anyway, this is one of the kinds, the types that I'm interested in, especially 5 megapixels. Only thing is, most of them, they will record to 5 megapixel, but you can set them to stream at a lower resolution. They don't say that. They just say like automatic easy streaming or something, one of them must say something something to that effect. And anyway, what it does is cut down the resolution so that because it will, if you got 4 cameras, then you're really going to use up all your bandwidth. After about 6 or 8 hours, you're not going to be able to surf the internet. You're going to be rebooting your routers all the time if you were streaming. And anyway, I like with my routers, this router is supposed to do, the D-Link router on the wireless is on the 5 megahertz. It's supposed to do either 12 or 1700 megabits per second. And it's a gigabit router on the wired. Well, these are wireless, and I can't the reason I don't want the cable kind, they would actually be the best of overall. The ones with power over Ethernet would be the best thing. But I can't run the cables. My health is not good enough to do that anymore. Get up in the attic and all that stuff. And you're still going to have to run your power cable. Where's a picture of the power cable? That cable right there. Network cable, audio input, power. Yeah, that's. Some of them come with a cable with all that. Some of them just come with power and stuff. But you're going to have to run the power in. What I'm planning on doing is putting them near a window and running the cable in the window and plugging them in, you know. And there's some pictures of how they're made, which is kind of interesting. But that's still going to be enough work right there. And then, of course, you'll have to screw them down to the wall or something. I'm not going to try to put mine up in the east because, you know, the first thing that a thief does is put on a hoodie or a cap and a hoodie or a cap and keep their head down and try to hide their face. So you need the camera down low enough that it's about the height of their head, you know, so it goes straight at them. Because if it's looking from up high, they're not going to look up unless they're, you know, mess up and look up. So look up where you can see their face, you know. But even the delivery people will often wear, you know, hats and stuff and hoodies because of the cold or the sun or whatever, you know. And they're not up to nothing. That's just the way, you know, it's popular. And they do have some that have batteries, but they're more expensive. And then you've got to go take those batteries out of them, bring them in the house and charge them up. There's even some with solar panels, but I haven't seen any that said they would keep them charged, have batteries and solar panels. They just keep the battery working longer before it charges. Because they don't use big solar panels big enough to do it. They just use small ones. And if they did, it'd be too expensive to buy. So, yeah. If this one really is a 5 megapixel and all that, then that might be a good one. I'd forgotten all about this one. But then then the other thing you get into, if they have half decent reviews and everything, it turns out for me, my phones is all I have to, you know, when you set them up, you pretty much need to do them with a phone or a tablet with their app, and their app not even compatible with my phones. I found one where it was not compatible with my phones, but compatible with a little bit newer tablet that I had bought Mom. But the app was crap. Everybody hated it, you know, in the reviews, and couldn't set the cameras up with it. And this one says, is SD card not cloud service? Well, good. That's what I want. You have to pay attention to why people don't like stuff, too, because that's all I need to pay attention to. Okay. Did I write on there that it was 5 megapixel? I always write notes to myself. Okay. I don't know why that's got a... I'm going to put that right at the beginning. I did not have that on there that it's 5. Oh, I wrote it wrong. 5 megapixel. Let's see what this next one is. That one is 1.3 megapixel. I wouldn't even bother with that. That's a whole set, though, I think. There are some that I think that's a whole system. But if you so if you get a whole system, let's see. Going down a little further. And they'll say the 1080p, but they're only like 1.3 megapixel or 2 megapixel. It's all over the map. You really have to pay attention to know that. Yeah, this one, the box. Let's see. Is this one with? This one might be one. 1080p with an NVR, 4 cameras, has a hard drive with it. It says it'll do 80-foot night vision. And when you read the reviews, it was saying that these cameras, you had to be within 10 feet of the box for it to work. Now, it's going to vary depending on your house and the interference and, radio interference in the other radio devices. And that's the thing. This is just basically adding another router to your house. So I put that in the living room. I'm afraid that this D-Link router is the only one that works throughout the whole living room and up into the kitchen and just into the garage, without dropping out and giving trouble for the phones and the tablets. From in here, in my room is where I have this is the other end of the house, where I have the routers and everything. So, but what's going to happen if you put this another router on with a different, sending out a whole different set of IPs, and they're going to fight with each other. And I'm afraid that it will just kill the internet, the Wi-Fi in there for the tablets and phones and stuff. So that's the other thing to consider, why I'm just about ready to just go with just they generally call them IP cams, That's what these are too, really, but they come with an NVR and all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't see anywhere in here where it's saying the megapixel. Usually they just say MP 1 megapixel. Is that this one I'm looking at? I think it's a different one. There's one that's 2 megapixel, 1.3. I can't tell which one is the one I have out of all these here. Keep on going, probably find it. Some of them flat don't list it. I don't think this one does. They're not telling you, so that means it's probably 1.3. Okay. Might have even said, but this is also the one that says must be placed very close, 10 foot. Oh, and some break, so I wasn't interested in that one at all. 2 megapixel. Now here's one that says it's 2 megapixel. And I'm just randomly kind of looking at them. They're not the best or the worst ones I've seen. I'm just trying to find some examples here. This one does come with a hard drive. A lot of them don't. And so then you got to spend another $50 or $75 on the hard drive. Oh, and I do like, most of these have microphones built in, and you can, and speakers, and you can talk to, like if somebody's at the door, you can say, what do you want? Get out of here. Of course, I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't answer them. But let's say you can see who it is, and then if you think, okay, maybe I want to see what it is they want, then you can talk to them through that without having to get up and go in there. I like that. So I'm not going to go through this one again and again, but and also this is a 4-channel. I think it'd be a real good idea if you're going to get one of these NVRs to get. You can get an 8-channel with 4 cameras, and then you can buy more cameras later for about the same price if you pay attention. So, but just because they say I thought if it was 1080p, they're all same quality, but they're not. They range anywhere from what I've seen, 1.2 to 2 megapixels, and if they're over 2 megapixels, then they're going to be above 1080p. It'll be bigger resolution than that. And I've been into cameras ever since I was a kid, but I mean, I've been into digital cameras since they invented them. I'm not any expert or anything, but I try to stay on top of cameras, and I'm streaming. And heard a lot of what I know in these videos, in this video, or in these videos tonight. If you watch through them or whatever. Let's see what else we got here. See, there's one for $36. That's a single camera. It has a cloud service though, which you got to watch out about that, because they won't. You can't just copy them over to your own local server or whatever, or to or Google Photos or whatever, Amazon or whatever. You have to only go to their cloud service and pay a fee. So, although that camera and this one I think is well, it may be less than 2 megapixels. I don't see it up there on the top, so usually that means they're not very good. So that wouldn't be, I wouldn't be interested in that. No mention of megapixels there. This one has changed. It was a 3 megapixel. Like, oh, I really considered this one until I started realizing I really need more than. I was thinking if I go too many megapixels, then you know, that I can't watch the stream because I already know that with my phones. They're 2 megapixels, right around that, and I have to go 720p so that, or else I can't watch the stream. That's why I stream my cameras at 720p. That's why they're not, you know, widescreen. Plus, it's kind of cool because I can get 2 of them inside of the 1080p screen, and I do that sometimes. But so I had really considered this one, but I don't remember. I was just looking at the. Not yeah, the CamEye app is not compatible with my devices. It has almost a 10-foot power adapter, which is okay. You know, it's about as good as you're going to get. SD card slot. You have to buy the SD cards. They don't come with them. It says 4.3 stars, 72%. I always put that in there. Let's see. See if it's still like that. Now it's 60%. It's gone down a little bit. It's 3.9 stars. So there's one with pan and tilt, but it's $100. I would like to have one of those, like at the front door or something, but well, that's not even available anymore. What brand is that? PTZ. There's some more in there. Of course, the cheaper one's going to be lower resolution. And I looked all over. Well, I looked all over, but I especially looked at Walmart and Amazon. What's this? There came with a bad power supply. Another 2 megapixel for $51 too. So I mean, you might as well get a 5 megapixel for 50. I'm going to have to check into that one tomorrow. $52. Whoops. I have not put that one in my. What I do if I'm really interested in them, because I have trouble finding them again, you know, is I put them in my not my cart. My list. I had a couple in there that I took out. See, there's one. That one there. That's the stupidest name, Cockagoo. I really, really considered that one. But you see, it was $47.95. Now it's $55.99. So I ain't buying it. And I think the app was crappy or something too. I can't remember. I actually have some instructions for that or something on my machine. There it is. That's it's an app for Windows to set it up or to view. I think it's a Windows app to view and I don't use Windows. I mean, I have Windows XP and a virtual machine. That's really all I got with Windows on it right now, and so I'm not going to be using that. But yeah, I didn't buy it because of I don't remember all the reasons why I didn't buy it. ONVI app. That's if you want to set up your own. Back it up to your own servers and stuff like that. You need it to support ONVI app. And when you see that, you're usually not going to get into the deal where you're stuck with you know, their service, their cloud service, their servers, where the thing won't talk to anything but their servers. They call it cloud service, you know. And some of the bigger, more well-known brands are actually like that, so you got to watch out. There's one. I think that's actually, as I was learning, there's a flat. I don't understand why that's a cable. I must have clicked on the wrong one. 25-foot Cat 7 Ethernet cable. That's when I was, I put that in there because I was actually considering the power over Ethernet. That's what that would do that. PoE, so it'll do PoE, and thought about doing that, running them out the windows and stuff like that, but you can't do that, you know, only in a couple of places. I mean, I could do that from here to out my window. That's it, really, because the router's in here, you know. Well, I did think about putting another router. I've got a couple old ones in the garage that are barely working now, but how I get internet in my garage is by using a wireless router as a wireless repeater on the same network, though, so they're not fighting, they're strengthening my network. So that's the way to do that, if you're going to do that. And that's probably what I would have to do, is go ahead and put one of these. I've got one router that I'm not even using right now that I had planned on, thought I'd put in the garage, but I hated to because the heat and the cold, I think, is what kills them. It takes a year or two, but one of them lasted quite a few years, 5+. The other one, well, it was already in bad shape. My Linksys, I put it out there and it quit within a year. It'll do like 1 megabits now. And I think the heat especially I know when I'm out there working on the car and I'm trying to use it to look stuff up or just listen to music or something, it'll work for a few hours, and the hotter it gets, the slower it gets, And I think it just damages the components, the electronics in those things. Anyway, that's not one I'd really be interested in. There's one. That one says terrible outdated software, and then there's one. 2 megapixel review says terrible software again, and those are $260. Let's see what that looks like. That's another set. That was the kind of thing I was trying to click on. So there's one that they always do that. Like if you're down here and what'll happen is I'll go ahead and put them in my bookmarks, and then I'll find all the information. I go down here to find out like the average, the reviews and stuff, and I'll click on it and I'll add more of my own description to it. And then that saves the link to the middle of the page. I always forget that it does that. But yeah, see, 8-channel, but it comes with 4 cameras. And I'm kind of thinking I might end up doing. Still, I'm afraid this is, like I said, a router it's a router and a server kind of. It's not. It is. It's a router, a server, with a storage and hard drive for storage. So all in one. Well, it's pretty cool, But I'm afraid it will fight my own Wi-Fi signal so badly. That's the thing. But like if you got one of these, 4 of these, and then I would really like to have 5 cameras, and then get one like that first one I showed you, you might do all right. Because if you just had one that was aimed in such a way that when you get the license number off the cars, and then the rest of them, that are aimed in different directions where they couldn't even end up seeing a car anyway, especially in the backyard, they don't really have to be any higher than 2 megapixels. Be all right. That'd be fine. That's what my cameras are. My phones that I use. They're fine as long as you're not trying to look at something. Well, they're not any good for zooming in, but these don't zoom either. But they're not any good real far away. It'd be too small. And so, they're good for. Well, it depends on what you're looking at, how big it is. But anyway, I think everybody kind of knows what phone cameras are like. Well, this is the same resolution. And of course, if you've got some new high-powered phone, you may have your video may be, they may start at 5 and go up to 10, or they claim, like when they claim like these, they say 5 megapixel on them, but that is the maximum of a still image it can take. The video is about 2, maybe a little less. I can't remember for sure. But yeah, you have to buy a hard drive for that one, though. But that's not too bad though, because see, it's $164.99, and if it has decent ratings, well, it's about as good as you get. Well, there's one other camera I've seen that actually was like, didn't have near as many reviews, but it had like 83% 5 stars. I don't think it was a high megapixel though. But the problem is they'll break, or these kind of especially, the biggest complaint is, you get them all set up, and then an hour later, you've got, two of the cameras drop out. Then you got to go. You can't just reboot them. You've got to reset them, and sometimes people can't figure out how to reset them. It doesn't work, and I think that might be the same one again. It is. So, and there's one 3 megapixel. Oh yeah, I was considering that one, but the links to their website are all broken. Did it go up? No, it's the same. I think this might be one of the ones with good reviews. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, this is the one, probably the one. This is the one I was talking about. It has the best reviews, and it has stayed pretty steady with good reviews of any of them, except for one thing. There is no software to download. Their website's broken. I've been back to it several times. I thought, well, maybe it was just a temporary thing. And let's see if I can find the address to their website, see if it's still broken. And 3 megapixels would probably wouldn't read. You couldn't read any. It'd be good, clear pictures, but you wouldn't be able to read license plates from from my house to the street with it. I don't believe. Because in order to see them, you're going to have to be going at an angle, so the distance is really kind of twice. It's at an angle and about twice as far as the actual straight-on distance from the house to the street. I wouldn't say the feet. It's not real. It's about a car length. Well, depending on what kind of car you got, it's about a pickup truck length and a half. Like right now, I have my '76 Chevy Blazer parked up close to the garage, and the little Saturn parked behind it, and they both fit. It's a '96 Saturn, so it's a small car. Trying to find the website. Somewhere in here, the seller was saying, here, go to our website, and then when you try to go there, it doesn't work. Yeah, here it is. There. Yeah, there's a link to the manual. Well, let's see if it's still broke. Yep, page not found. You can go back to their home page, and still, you got all these links and stuff here. That's where I tried to go. Software. There we go. And you have to look and see what series you have to know. It doesn't really matter because they're all broken, but well, I don't remember. My head hurts. Clicked on the wrong thing there. But whatever series, let's just say I don't remember any of them. It all does the same thing. Yeah, you say, oh, there it is. Search tool. And that's what happens. The whole website's still broke. So, evidently, I don't know if the company's actually out of business, the company that manufactures these, or what. I would guess they probably are. So, I wouldn't buy something where you can't, if you can't, you can't get the software, you can't get nothing for it, then what, it's useless. There's one that's 5 megapixels, but it says, oh, this is the same one, but it's a 5 megapixels instead of the 3, but the same brand, but and see, it had decent ratings too. So you can tell if you've figured out Amazon's ratings are not all about the same product, so that is an average of all of their products basically. Sometimes you see, if you really look through the reviews, you might find out it's not even about a camera or whatever it is you're looking at. So that's pretty good overall of why I haven't bought one, yet. It's just a minefield trying to find something that's worth spending, $50, $60 on for one, or spending $250 or so on a set of 4, of lower resolution cameras. You want to get, if you go look at some of these other brands, there's some that I thought, I thought, well, maybe those would be good. Lorax, when they look good on their site and everything, but look at their reviews. You see, and that's actually a little better than some of their other camera reviews. They'll break, and I don't remember which brands. There's two pretty, I guess you'd say well-known brands. I've heard of these. That's one of the few brands I've heard of, Lorex. I don't pay attention to the super high-end stuff. I started looking at some of that, and I was like, holy crap, prices on them, are insane. But see, that's $60 plus shipping. Now, you can just go to their site. They had sales. I almost bought theirs from their site. Like, they have 4K ones. But see, well, that's not the one I almost bought, but I just saw the 5 megapixel. But sometimes they'll put sales on there. And these are all those swivel kind. I don't think, and then you have to buy the NVR separately, and they're outrageous. And they won't work. Some of these won't, like this kind, they won't work with another brand of NVR. There's a wireless with a recorder. Only 3 cameras, and it was $300 to $500, I think, last time I looked. And if you go looking at and if you get off of their site and go looking at the reviews, like in Amazon and places where there's lots of reviews, I didn't see the price. They sound good when you read the descriptions, but they all sound good when you read the descriptions. Anyway, the prices I had was $4.99. Oh, was $3.99 when I first found it, and then it was $4.99 the next time I went back. I don't know. I'm missing the price for some reason. It's in here somewhere. I don't know. They may have taken the price out until you go into the cart or something. They do that kind of stuff, And I can't think of the other brand. Forex is one. Let's see. I guess if I get past, there's all the ones with numbers in front. That's the ones I've really researched and thought they were worth adding to my list. All the ones with prices, I mean. And of course, if you try to look at those reviews, the best this and the best that, they just tell you they're good because they're getting you can tell most of these articles are getting a kickback from that company, or they say, that's what they sell even, Let's see, Amcrest. I think that Amcrest might be one of those high-end. Well, now this is all types of cameras. These are not. So I'm just looking through there. I ain't going to run into everything. But yeah, that's why there's so many prices on so many things. Forgot about that. And when I first started searching, I just didn't think I was going to be looking at that many, and I didn't want to go make another whole folder for just security cameras. Should have now. I think that might be a security camera. Got everything from little video cheapio cameras that cost $10 to security cameras to DSLR to red I want to say studio cameras, but they're not really studio cameras. But anyway, if you've ever heard of the red cameras, you know what I'm talking about. Usually don't put them in there if they're any more expensive than those kind, because I know I'm never going to get one of those unless I get it 10 years later, 20 years later on an auction. I did have when the camera was new, it was a $12,000 camera, studio camera, Sony Pt4 that I bought on an auction in the late 90s, $350, and it was a great camera. Of course, that was when digital was just fixing to really take over. It was old then. Yeah, Lorex. I can't think of the name. Real link. There they are. Let's see. 2 megapixel, 4 megapixel. Let's see what I considered these two because a guy named Morton that does server videos, he put some up on his house and he liked them a lot, but they're too expensive and they don't have that great of reviews either. You see them on, some of them they actually do have, enough reviews on their own site that you can tell you don't want, you don't want it. Some of them don't. And if you're going to buy any of these brands like this, then you would want to just buy it from their site. But you kind of want to wait for them to put them on sale, otherwise you won't get a break at all. So that, I didn't even see any prices there on that. And then there's an NVR setup. Oh, that's just the NVR. See, $186.99 just for the NVR. That's no cameras. Let's see. I did not see. Let's see, 2 megapixels. Let's see if it has a price that I can see right easily. There's one of these brands that is, no worries about, maybe both of these. No worries about, cloud service or any of that kind of crap. There actually are, I forgot those letters that I was showing a while ago, but you can hook them up to whatever you want. You can send you can look at them from what, TVs and computers and tablets and phones. And you can have them back up to whatever you want to set up. I don't know about, I can't remember if both Reolink and Lorex are that way, but one, it might be one is and one isn't, I can't remember. That one's a 4K, but it's a power over Ethernet. Now, if you're going to go up high resolution, actually, well, I think the absolute max you could do over Wi-Fi is 5, and like I said, I figured out you're not going to be able to stream on any of your normal home routers. You're not going to be able to stream 5 megapixels video. But you could record it on the SD card, but then you're going to stream it at a lower resolution to just view it. That's the only way it's going to work, because otherwise it's just going to hang up and stop on you. Like I said, I can't. I have a pretty decent router now, and well, the other one wasn't that much slower. The other one, that what's it, TP-Link, I think, it's just a little bit slower than this D-Link in the Wi-Fi. And that's the other. Well, some of them, most of these cameras, I didn't think to mention that. Most of these cameras I've been showing, they only work on 2.4 gigahertz, and that will not do it. 5 gigahertz is the only thing that would do it, but 5 gigahertz doesn't reach as far, not near as far, and not through walls and stuff. So these, I think both of these brands will do 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. Now here's a little set for $476.99. That's a 4K though, but it's not wireless. It's PoE, power over Ethernet. So you only have to run the one cable, though. That's cool. You don't have to run power and video and audio. These may not even do audio. And there's another one, a little bit cheaper. Yeah, PoE NVR. I don't see anything about. But like I said, if you find that's a 5 megapixel. That might not be that bad of a price if it's a good system that doesn't break on you or anything. For it probably is 2 5 megapixels and 2 megapixels. Yeah, 5 and 4. There you go. So it's got 2 5 megapixels there, and then those bullet cameras 4 megapixels. Still not too bad. And see, you'd just probably want to order it straight from them. If you order it on Amazon, you might not even have the warranty. You know, you got to watch out about that too. Unless they're the seller on Amazon is them or a reseller for them, the authorized, reseller. 3 days offer. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that's an 8-channel with 4 cameras, so you can add more cameras later. That would be good. 5 megapixel and 4 megapixel. But see, that's still, I really just can't. That's just a well. That's $339. That's still about not quite $100, but $70 so more than I really. My max is pretty well $250. Well, it wouldn't be if I bought a $250 set and then another $55 camera though, would it? It'd be about $300. Huh. I think they've put some stuff on sale here because I don't remember them being that low on anything. That's PoE though. That's not wireless, and I can't run all those cables. I wanted to. I kept wanting to do it. That's 1080p, which is going to be. See, they don't even say the megapixels, so it's going to be low. 249. Let's see. It'll tell you. I do not see megapixels anywhere. It says it has a 16 gigabit SD card included. That's cool. Maybe they're saying, oh no, they're saying MP. That's a different set. There, nowhere on this page do I see the megapixels for that set, so it must be like one of those under 2 megapixels, 1.3 or something like that. I don't know if they have a 1.5 out there. I know I see 1.3 and 2 a lot. If it's there, I can't find it. Where did this set go? I don't see it. That actually, well, if it had decent megapixels, it might be okay. I'm surprised that's out of stock. I'm surprised they're putting these on sale. They haven't been on a bunch of them on sale like that. Last several times I've looked on these sites, I kind of quit looking at them because I didn't remember them having several sets, with the higher megapixels. I think they were just regular price. See, $399. I think they just now marked them down. That's something to consider. That's $339. Let's see. Oh, that's a PoE, yeah. $249. That's the one. Oh, there's another one. $329. Doesn't say the megapixels either. Oh, it's out of stock. So, well, now that I got on here, I'm shopping. Wi-Fi security cameras. Let's see what we got here. These are just singles. Yeah. 54, 67, 53. Every time I'd see one, I think, oh, that might be all right, like this one here. You go find some reviews on them, and you're like, oh crap, like they break or something, See if there's any more information. There's no reviews on. I don't see any reviews on this side. Oh yeah, I've seen that bird so many times. I read and read and read, thinking, oh maybe this is the camera I kept thinking I might get. And then when I find some reviews, they do sell these on Amazon. I think they sell them on Amazon, and they had worse reviews than some of the just Chinese brands that, of course, it's all made in China or somewhere like that, Indonesia, China, somewhere like that. It's made in Japan, it's not going to be that cheap, I guarantee you that. People say, and I guess it's true, that the electronics from Japan is better quality in general than the other countries. But a lot of people, people everywhere say that. So I still remember when they started, when American-made electronics was all you even thought about buying, and when Japan started making electronics, they were cheaper and poorer quality. Now everybody, all the young people these days, they think, of course this is, back in the late 60s, early 70s, when I was a kid and a teenager, I got my first stereo, we got our first stereo, and we didn't get an American brand because we couldn't afford it. We got I guess it was a Japanese brand, and this one turned out all right. It was pretty decent. No powerhouse, I was wanting a 50 or 100 watt system. This was, like, 15 per channel or 20, maybe 20, 25 per channel. It would get loud, but if you turn it up too loud, it would distort. It was decent, and it lasted. It still worked. When I was 35 or 40 years old, I got it. It was in the garage. Nobody was using it anymore, and I gave it to some friends that didn't have a stereo. And I made one mistake. I taught them how to plug a microphone into it, and they let their kids scream on it, and they blew the speakers or the amp or something. I never did go look at it or anything. They just told me it didn't work anymore. They didn't want to tell me they were embarrassed. But I kind of had a funny feeling when I was showing them how to do that. The girl in the family, the mother, she sang, and I sang, and, I wanted to help her have a way to practice, Anyway, kids went nuts on it without any compression or protection, for the system and the speakers. Blew it out. But the husband, my friend, actually introduced him and that girl. He knew quite a bit about sound gear and stuff too, and I figured he would take care of it and not let him blow it up. But he kind of couldn't control those kids anyway. They were hers. He had one and she had two. Two. So anyway, I'm so tired I have no clue what I'm looking at. But there you go. That is the overview of what I've been looking at. And you got to pay attention to, like I said, about, there's one that does 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, 4 megapixel, works with Google Assistant. I don't know, I never used that. I think you have to buy one of those Google machines to use that. I don't think it just works on a phone, as far as I know. I know you can talk to the phones with Google, and all that stuff. There's another one. That style's fine with me. I don't really care. I think some of these are not outdoor cameras. You got to watch that, unless you just want an indoor camera. Some of them, just because they're shaped that way, don't mean they won't go outdoors. But you do have to watch that. Anyway, that's one day. I don't like it when they say that short of a sale. Like that one ends in so many hours. They're trying to press you into hurrying up and buying, and I just say no. Even though it might be to my detriment. Well, on these, like I said, I read on these long enough, I could not find. You go to this might be exactly what I was looking for an example. We'll go by a website. Yeah, see there, I wrote real link in there. I typed real link in my search, and I've got all these different ones. There's one, 3.7 stars, worst reviews of any camera, period, that I've see, well, not any, but, and that's 262 ratings too. 3.7 stars. See how, and if you go through there, you'll see why people hate them, 3.5 stars. This is why I didn't buy any of these. They look great on their website, but when you go over here, see, and you find out, go start reading the 1 stars and find out, that they, sadly, I think these are the ones that break a lot. So anyway, 3.5 stars. I don't know if it's a different one or the same one, but there's a 4K for $80. It actually has 4 stars. And I mean, usually these ones with high resolution, the people love the resolution of them. Most people like the resolution of 2 megapixel ones, I mean, they look fine. Unless you're trying to, like I said, be able to see license plates and stuff. That's one of the main things of a security camera, that's one thing you really do want. At least have one like that. So, anyway, yeah, there you go. So, there's, Morton. This is the one Morton bought. And he liked it. He bought a couple of different styles. I think it was more than that last time I looked at it. Let's see what the ratings are. They're not quite so bad. These are average, like pretty much average for other cameras. That's also not a Wi-Fi camera. That's a wired, and I remember he made videos when he was installing them and everything. And I wanted to tell myself I could do that, but I know I can't do it. My health is just not good enough. Can't climb. I can't get on the roof. Can't climb. No way I could crawl through the attic now. Fall off the roof. I tried to get on there, or off the ladder getting up there. So anyway, there we go. That's why I just spent all these hours. Well, I haven't bought one yet, and I end up my 2 bad phone batteries, and end up spending all these hours. But I got to pick something. I just don't want to. But I don't want to buy something for, $50, 50, $60, and darn sure don't want to spend $250 on a whole set and then have them not be any good, or mess up my wireless in the house so bad that we can't use one or the other, either the cameras or the tablets and stuff. I don't really like tablets. I don't go in there in the living room and use them. I stay in here and use mostly this desktop, but I mess with all different kinds of computers when I feel good. And like I said earlier, I have a real server that I want to set up and get going, but I don't think I want to use it as my desktop. It's got 12 cores, 24 with, it shows up as 24 cores when you run a system app on it, system testing app. But it is, hardware-wise, it's 12 cores. 2 6-core processors, what it is. HP with 64 gig of RAM. And I haven't set up haven't learned how to set the hard drives yet, the RAID on it. It doesn't have a whole lot of space, and that's why I haven't done it yet. What I want to do is I think I can take one or two or both of my hard drives out of my USB cases and put them in there. I think they're right. I think they're 3.5s. I'm not sure. They might not be. I mean 2.5. 2.5s. If they're 2.5s, they'll fit in there, because it'll take SATAs, and it has SAS drives in it. I think SAS drives. Yeah. It has. It's full. It's got like 8 of them in there, but they're each like 1-point-something terabytes or something. I think altogether it'd be like 5 terabytes of space. All the drives that are in it are 8. I don't remember. But last time I messed with it, I was trying to figure out how to get into the remote setup and trying to figure out the BIOS and all that too. And I didn't quite figure it all out. And then later I watched more videos, did some more reading even, read too. And then I started getting it down. Morton, he loves IBM and Lenovo. And so that's pretty much, he does have some HPs, but he doesn't mess with them a whole lot. he's a server admin guy, but he does them at home. He just loves it all so much, and he has server racks and servers in his house and all kinds of old and mostly all older stuff. But he bought one brand new though, a Novo server. But anyway, this HP was a real good deal. It's like I think I paid $350 for it, used. And the Novos are a lot more than that, of the same age group, So anyway, the hard drives do have, on the HPs, do have a bad reputation of dying, but so that's why I thought, well, I can run my operating system on 6 of them, and the other 2 I can put my backup drives in there if they'll work, but I don't want to take them apart until I have, and leave 2 of the HP drives out for backups. If one dies, then I can just pop that one out and pop in with the others, and then the RAID will, copy it back over to the other drive. Anyway, and I've never used RAIDs, so that's something. I've watched a lot of videos on it and read some on it, and that's something I'm learning. But I can run it in. I was thinking when I originally got it, I'd probably put it in the garage and run it 24/7, but I'm afraid the heat will damage it in the summer, and the cool in the winter. It'd probably be all right, but because it makes its own heat. But I don't want to kill the thing, Be the most. It is the most powerful machine I've ever had. Until then, the most powerful machine I ever had was this quad core with 4 gig of RAM that I'm running right now. But that's that little Lenovo i5. It's down under there. You can't even see it. I can see the light blinking. Anyway, I really didn't think I would keep going. Thought I was going to quit about probably now. How long have I been doing this video? I thought I was going to go, 10, 20 minutes and then quit. Instead, I've done an hour and 27 minutes. So I'm really going to go this time. All right. Each time I was doing, talking about cameras and stuff in my videos, I always kind of wanted to show all that, and I never did. So, but I think it's really, as much as I've always followed cameras and stuff, I had never really learned a lot about security cameras, especially what's out there now. And it is, well, I guess it's the best thing I can think of to say. It's a minefield trying to figure out what security camera to buy, and that's if you know quite a bit about cameras like I do. If you know nothing, man, you're up the creek. So there's no telling what you might end up with, And that's why I haven't done anything yet. Well, I'm going to go. And I don't know for sure what I'm going to do now. I don't really expect to find another. Well, the only other thing I know of as far as running, that would maybe work with my USB. I'm not going to buy a new USB. USB works any machine too hard. I don't want USB cameras. I used to think that'd be a good way to set up a cheap security system. I always was wanting to do that with ZoneMinder or some other application. And then my old USB cameras got too old, and so I gave up that idea. And I set them up for. Actually, I had one of them. I had one set up for quite a while, just doing still images with a Windows 98 machine, and it would motion detect and take a picture every so many seconds, And I guess I don't remember which camera I used now. One of these old cameras up there. One of those. And that machine couldn't handle 2, Well, I didn't need 2 out the same window anyway. And that was years ago. And I'd forgotten about that. So anyway, it wasn't going through the window with the screen. You can't really Unless you know the people, you're really not going to know who they are. You couldn't like identify a stranger that way, and you really could barely be able to do that. With these 2 megapixel cameras, barely be able to identify a stranger. Maybe, I was thinking, well, if you ran it through a facial recognition database and stuff, would it really come up with anything? And you come up with would it be able to identify them? I mean, sure, it would come up with something, but I don't know. But that's why I want to get real security cameras, put them outside where there's nothing, no screen in the way, no window in the way. And the windows, the sun shines on the windows and it messes up the image. Besides just the screen, it's also the reflections and stuff. And when you turn the lights on in the house, I'll fix and show you. No, I don't have the camera running right now. I can show you what it looks like right now, but I can't. So, going on again. So I'm going to go where I start talking about something else again. See you later.